This is where I would be remiss if I didn't talk about Anthony Davis and the fact that he's anchoring behind all of that. Yes, the Lakers' point of attack defense has been a revelation this year, something we did not expect, and something that has made their defense better than we could have expected them to be to this point in the season. That is true. But none of this happens without Anthony Davis. Now, over the course of the regular season, are there guys who try harder, more consistently on a night-in, night-out basis? Yes. Are there guys that are more reliable from an injury perspective? Yes, although Anthony Davis has been on a good streak of health basically since the trade deadline last year, right? That said, when AD is locked in and engaged on the defensive end of the floor, there is nobody in this league that can reach his level defensively. He is the very best. That is why the second best defense in the league, Boston, could not do to Tyrese Halliburton what the Lakers did to Tyrese Halliburton. I talk about this concept all the time, the idea of back-end rotations and disrupting at the point of attack. So if you blitz, if you put two to the ball, lots of teams do this, by the way. Almost everybody does it to the elite guards in the league, right? Especially when they start cooking you, got to get the ball out of their hands at some point, right? Well, what happens is they'll put two to the ball. Tyrese will make some quick pass, a quick feed on a pocket pass or a skip pass or something like that, or a swing pass, and then it's a quick 4-on-3 and it's boom, 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 layup or a three-point shot, right? What makes it different is Anthony Davis and his ability at the level of the screen and in blitz situations with high hands and low hands to disrupt that pocket pass and to disrupt that over-the-top pass. What ends up happening is that pocket pass is maybe thrown at an angle that's not great to where the short roll man is, right? Or that over-the-top pass, instead of it being a rifle pass over the top, it's more floating over the top, okay? But now, who's on the backside? It's Taurean Prince and LeBron James with the starters, right? It's Max Christie and Rui Hachimura with the bench guys, right? It's athletes on the backside. And so when Anthony Davis buys you time by making that pass difficult out of that blitz situation or showing high, he makes it so that it's easy to rotate on the backside, at least given the athleticism that the Lakers have. And that was the strategy I expected from the Lakers to start, basically just rotating out on the backside, and it worked. Again, allowed just 109 points in this game after they put up 122 on the Celtics and 128 on the Bucks. Now, on the other end of the floor, the Lakers had a massive size advantage all over the floor, as we know. Right? There were two specific actions that were working that I thought was really interesting. So Aaron Nesmith was doing a really nice job on LeBron James with his ball pressure. So one of the things the Lakers did to counter that, give the ball to Austin Reeves. And then LeBron was setting on-ball picks. And basically what was happening is the Pacers did not want to switch that action, especially since for most of those bench group situations, it was a lot of TJ McConnell there. And they didn't want to get TJ McConnell on LeBron. So when he would set the screen on TJ and they didn't switch, Austin's getting downhill. Why? Because Aaron Nesmith doesn't know how to play drop coverage. He doesn't know how to. Carlisle's telling him to just bully LeBron all over the floor, right? So he's staying glued up to LeBron. And so Austin Reeves started getting downhill and making plays, right? And then when they did switch, there were a couple of times where they switched and LeBron just got a nice inside seal over the top pass, and he was able to score, make passes out of that, right? And so that Austin LeBron two-man game was a great counter for the Lakers against the Aaron Nesmith ball pressure. And then they were not switching the LeBron AD pick and roll with Miles Turner. And that was where you saw the lob pass and LeBron getting all the way down to the rim and finishing with his right hand. And that's the thing, the Pacers don't have the personnel because they don't have two big forwards to just switch that action. You can't put Aaron Nesmith on Anthony Davis, right? Or LeBron on Miles Turner, right? So they had to run a traditional drop coverage. And like we saw against the Phoenix Suns, whenever LeBron sees a drop coverage, he goes at it with Anthony Davis in pick and roll. Again, Laker fans are always talking why aren't the Lakers running more LeBron AD pick and roll? Why aren't they running more LeBron AD pick and roll? The vast majority of teams out there just switch that action. That's why they don't run it a lot. They usually have a center and a forward, and they live with the center on LeBron, and they live with the forward on Anthony Davis. And the Pacers just couldn't get away with doing that, and so LeBron was able to make plays in pick and roll. And then late in the game, when they got Miles Turner in foul trouble, they ended up going to Anthony Davis in the post against Jackson, and he just started drawing fouls and getting to the foul line because Jackson can't guard him down there. And so they really smart offensive thought process from the Lakers, taking advantage of what their advantages were. There were a lot of people on Twitter saying why aren't the Lakers taking any threes? Why aren't the Lakers taking any threes? Now, in the big picture, I think the Lakers should take more threes because it's just, from the standpoint of math, something that could help their offense a little bit, right? But it's matchup dependent. In a one-game sample size against the Indiana Pacers, when you get a trophy at the end of it, go to the damn paint because that's where your advantage is. And so I loved that the Lakers didn't settle for threes. At the end of the game, they took a few, but like they made a few, I should say. I think Taurean Prince made one and then Cam Reddish made one, but they weren't taking a lot of threes because that just wasn't the right offensive approach for that game. This is a team that was giving up like 4, 5, 6 inches on most of their defensive matchups in this game. That was their advantage. They stuck to it. That's how they won. I think that, again, just kind of looking at the Lakers first, like that to me is what their identity is. And this is something I've been preaching about all year. Don't worry about trading for DeRozan. Don't worry about trading for Zach LaVine. Trade for, if you're going to make a trade, go after a starter caliber two-way player, basically an upgraded version of a Cam Reddish or an upgraded version of a Taurean Prince, so that you can slot everybody a little bit better, so you're better in a playoff series. Because again, there are going to be teams that are going to that are going to be able to contain LA a little bit better on both when they're on offense, and they're going to do so by ignoring Cam Reddish, by ignoring Jared Vanderbilt, right? Like a team like the Nuggets, they live with Anthony Davis on an island against Jokic. They live with LeBron James on an island against Aaron Gordon. And so, again, it's better for me, for the Lakers, in my opinion, to lean into what they're best at. This team's identity, in my opinion, is they are the best defensive team of the contenders, right? Like the Bucks, it's like Dame Giannis pick and roll, good luck, right? The Nuggets, it's this incredible 5-man offense, right? And then they defend at a high level as well. The Celtics, it's drive and kick basketball, and they do a ton of switching on defense, and they can be an elite perimeter defense, right? Like every team kind of has their identity. The Lakers are world-beating defense, like all-time great defense. That's their identity. Like we're just going to maul you physically with our incredible defensive potential, and on the other end of the floor, we're going to pick you apart with a bunch of really smart basketball players. And so again, I think this tournament is a great sign for the Lakers of what specifically they need to do to reach their ultimate goal, which is to get the Larry O'Brien trophy. Defense, defense, defense. That's how they win. Don't try to be the Bucks. Trading for Zach LaVine, if you want to go get into a scoring contest with some of these teams that are at the top of the West and East, you're going to lose those scoring contests because you're just not as good at it as they are. But if you try to be better on defense than everybody by a wide margin, that's your best pathway to get the trophy. Anthony Davis, the other thing too, I talk a lot about him on the defensive end of the floor, as we've done so far in the show, but when he brings it offensively the way that he did tonight, and again, it's just being physically aggressive in the post, running the floor on offense for opportunities, rolling hard to the rim. Obviously the advantages the Pacers presented to him in this game were important, right? Hit a little step back jump shot early in the game as well, but him dominating down there on the block, that is the difference between the AD that could be the 6th or 7th best player in the league and the AD that can be the 2nd or 3rd best player in the league. If he wants to enter into that conversation, offensive consistency is the gap there. But like when it comes to his ceiling is as high as anybody in the league because it's best defensive player in the world, and he can give you 40 points if he's got physical advantages in the post. And that's just what makes him such an incredibly dominant player. He played one of the better individual games that I've seen in a long time tonight. 40-something and 20-something. Just unbelievable from Anthony Davis.